Lawrence Xu-Nan.
Madam Chair, thank you for the Minister's response, and I love the fact that the Minister is telling literally a mom of young children about what is it like being a parent of young children. I'm sure that is something that Alana Williams will have more to say on that. But I want to pick up on something the Minister has said, and I want to start with section clause 5 as well, because it is an important part of this bill, along with the Directive of Regulations and also regulations of ECE in general. But just to kind of looking at this first part, now broadly, I see the intention here of separating our purpose and objective, and we've seen that as well in terms of some of the other legislations, particularly in terms of some of the board objectives we saw in the bill that was passed last week. But what the Minister said was interesting to me, because 14B, the support the choice of parents and caregivers to participate in the labour market, is not in the existing legislation. That is new. And I want to know from the Minister, and it's a very peculiar one, because this is saying that the purpose of ECE is to ensure that we free our parents to go and work. It's what we're looking at there, which I thought is a very interesting. It's a very interesting purpose in education, because there's no other part. I mean, unless the Minister can quote a specific section, there's no other part of the Education and Act about parents working in job. Like that is not even covered within the overall purpose of the Education and Training Act. But while that is what a lot of parents have to do, and acknowledgement, and I do acknowledge all of the parents who are in this house at this stage, and then, and all of your spouses who are also having to, and partners who have to work and have to ensure that the children are going there. But what it also means by this singular clause is to treat early childhood education not as a place where tamariki learn and develop skills, but essentially treating as a babysitter, essentially a nannying service. But that's exactly why we have this particular section here, and I cannot fathom why the Minister would consider including this part when it's not in the existing legislation. Conversely, what we're not seeing, and it's a blatant, it's quite an obvious gap within 14 and 14A, is there is not a single mention of teachers. And there's not a single mention of the resources and support to teachers who are working in ECE to ensure that a lot of these does take place. I agree that parents do perform an important role in all of these, but in terms of providing some of these, teachers and also performers are an important role. So I think I would have, if we're sticking to a separation of purpose and objective, providing clarity, I think that's, that I understand that. But I would ask the Minister to consider my amendment that that 14B, support the choice of parents and caregivers to participate in the labour market, isn't actually something that is needed within this section, especially when it's not in the existing legislation. Furthermore, I would ask the Minister to start with by considering my amendment, which does say supporting teachers and qualified teachers and workers to ensure that they are well resourced and supported as part of objectives. I'm not asking the Minister to include it in the purpose of Part 2, I'm asking the Minister to include it in 14A under the objectives. So I'm going to start with those two, of a peculiar inclusion of 14B and what is the intention of that, and why in the purpose and objectives, why are teachers not mentioned at all?
Madam Chair.
Honourable David Seymour.
If the member had listened to the debate, he would have heard my earlier answer. 14B is being put in legislation because it reflects the simple reality that many New Zealanders actually do send their child to early childhood education so they can go to work. If the member seriously doesn't think that's what happens in New Zealand, I don't know where he has been. Certainly not listening to this debate. I won't repeat myself again on that topic. He then asked, why do we not include teachers? Well, very simply, this is about children. This is about getting outcomes for children. I know that there will be people who want the service provider to be put at the centre of the policy, but it's not. We're doing this for children, and we have no intention of supporting the member's amendment.
Well, that just sounds very dismissive from David Seymour. We played not to support the member's amendment.
Sorry, but what the hell did he just say? Like, children go to early childcare centres to prepare for work. Like, what?
so that their parents can go to work.
Oh, I was going to say, it's like, seriously, that can't be.
I thought that when I was a kid, I thought the collective goal of everyone was that we wanted to leave a world that was better for our kids. So, like, if we're working 40 hours now, then in the future, maybe we'll only work 30. And the goal should be that we don't have to work at all. And we make our life so amazing that we can all just hang out and have fun times. Like, that's what I thought the goal was, and it's been really sad to realize that's not the goal, and some people feel like the goal of life is to just create capitalism.
You know what? I wish we could have a day where we could live in a house in a creepy mansion, have the man in the house called Gomez, the lady in the house called Morticia, and have 2 kids there, and they sit there and live off passive income. Better known as the Addams family.
I yearn for the day when both parents don't have to go to work.
Yeah.
I mean, put it this way. My grandma was a rarity of one of those people who, between when Judy was born and my dad was born, she did go back to work.
Oh, yeah.
And then, be the teacher. And, okay. Then she took time off again when my dad was a kid. And that's when Granddad became a school principal at the same time when Dad was born. And then later on went back to but as soon as my dad was 5, she was back to teaching. But that wasn't that common as such when my dad's dad's parents were kids. I mean, my mum's side, both her parents worked pretty much as soon as my mum's younger sister was there. Both her parents were working. Her mother actually worked quite a few jobs as well, just to try and keep the house afloat. But you sit there, you're looking at from 1950s to 60s. One parent, if they work, they only work part time. If the second parent only worked part time, they didn't work full time.
Yeah.
Whereas now, basically, you kind of need to have both parents working full time just to even sit down there and pay the mortgage.
I grew up with just a mum, and I literally went to every after school care, every school holiday program. I went to ECE or kindy, I guess, from literally 2 weeks old. My mum gave birth and was back at work. So that was all.
Well, I can certainly tell you right now that did not happen in my family.
People have to do that, sure, David, but that should not be the goal. That we should have bigger. I thought you were an ambitious guy. You said that earlier. You're an ambitious guy. Why are your ideas?
Well, you can always be like Mr. Barbara Edmonds, who's a stay-at-home dad. But I'll be honest with you, if it wasn't for the jobs Barbara Edmonds had, that probably wouldn't have been achievable.
Yes, yeah.
I'm just glad that he wasn't. I'm just glad that I just misheard what he said, because I honestly thought for a second there he was proposing that early childhood care centres should be providing a pathway to work for children. I was like, holy crap, now we've gone full anarcho-capitalism over here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching. Make sure you're subscribed to our Facebook